Hello and welcome to the new video. If this is your first time here, my name is Hannah and today I wanted to share with you all the books that I have bought in February. Who's guilty of having a massive TBR and yet not able to stop themselves from buying more books? I am. February is such a short month, only 28 days, and I've managed to get over 30 books. And that doesn't even include my Abominable book club subscription box because that box is delayed. So at the time of recording this on what's today's date, 26th of February, I still haven't received that box. So I will show you these books when I do my March haul, which I'm hoping is not going to be massive, because when I was recording my last vlog, I was talking about some books that I picked up in a charity shop, and I was looking at the stack of the books on my bedroom floor, and I have realized that, you know, when you buy books and you shelf them straight away, you don't realize the sheer amount, or at least I don't realize the sheer amount of books that I buy, and having them stacked up on my bedroom floor, it kind of felt a little bit ridiculous. So I decided in March I am going to try not to buy any books unless I have pre-orders, which I have my subscription boxes, unless I see something that I absolutely need to have on Vinted. I'm talking about Vinted because I know the new books or whatever, they're available at the click of a mouse, and I don't want to buy new books. I am in a mood of recycling and upcycling and reading books that people have bought before. Most of my purchases from February were actually from Vinted. Most of them are from Vinted. I have 3 books that I have purchased in a charity shop yesterday, and I have 4 books that are brand new. One of them is a pre-order. One of them is a book that I keep seeing on people's TBRs and I really want to read. And the next 2 books are from a loot box by Abominable book club. They did this loot box and they had two brand new books. They had some pin badges and had really cool bookmarks and a couple of very cool prints. So I've ordered that loot box and I got 2 random books. So that's my 4 new books. I think what I will start with is those new books, those new purchases. The first one was a pre-order, and if you have watched my recent vlog, you will know what the book that is, because I have attempted to read The Crimson Moth in January and get myself ready in February and get myself ready for The Rebel Witch. Unfortunately, I haven't finished it. I'm still reading it. So I will be moving this book to March, and then straight away I will be reading The Rebel Witch, and this is the book that I have pre-ordered last year. So that's one of them. I don't think I need to explain a lot. The Rebel Witch is a sequel to the Crimson Moth book, and in book 1 it's basically a enemies to lovers, I believe, a romantasy between a witch and a witch hunter, and this is a sequel to that. So I'm excited to read this one as soon as I finish the Crimson Moth. The second new book that I purchased is the book that was talked about a lot, or at least the booktubers that I watched talked about this book a lot, and it was hyped because people are saying that it has a Daisy Jones and the Six vibes, and the book is The Favorites by Lane Fargo. And apparently this is a sports romance or something like this between 2 ice skaters, and I think the format of the book is very similar to Daisy Jones and the Six. I really liked Daisy Jones and the Six, and I thought when I heard of this book, like, I really would like to read this one, and this I will be definitely reading this in March. It's going to be read as soon as I finish The Rebel Witch. And do you know what? I've seen the US cover, and this cover is so much nicer than the US cover. I love the color combination on this cover, like the rainbow colors. You know, I like my colors. Just look at my flipping bedroom, right? Also, I'm recording in a bedroom because downstairs is so dark. It's unbelievably dark. So yeah, I'm excited to read this one. This is my second new purchase. A couple of books that I got from the loot box by Abominable Book Club. Shredder's Accord by Scott Lee. And in this book, the main character, I think, inherits a record store from his father that recently passed away, and also a case with certain records. And these records, apparently when they play, they open the gates to hell, and they play the records. Him and his sister played the records, and unbelievable things apparently happen. So it seems like a very cool concept. It reminds me a little bit of Grady Hendrix' We Sold Our Soul. It was kind of the same vibe, like music and horror combined together. So yeah, I think I will enjoy this one. And then the second book that came in that loot box was Girls of Little Hope. So apparently this is a story of 3 girls that go into this kind of like a cave or a mine, and only 2 of them come back and they have no memory of what happened. So this is all I know about this book. I love the cover. You know, I like pink. So pink will always speak to me. And yeah, so these 2, I didn't pick them. They were a random selection. So the people from the Abominable Book Club picked them up for my mystery box, and along with them, let me show you quickly. Along with the books, I also got a couple of bookmarks and also a print and like few kind of leaflets that I'm going to use in my junk journal. But the 2 things that I like the most is a couple of pin badges that they sent, and this is the first one, and this is the second one. So I think they're quite cool. The box is, I think, 10 quid, and they sell out super quick. I feel for a tenner, having 2 brand new books for 10 quid, and then you have a selection of bookmarks and prints and pin badges, I think it's a really good deal. I'll leave the link to Abominable Book Club down below, so feel free to check them out. I support them. This is a small business and I think they are doing a fantastic job. So that's the new books that I have purchased in February. So now let's move to because there's less of them, let's move to the books that I picked up in a charity shop yesterday. The first book that I picked up in a charity shop was Pine by Francine Toon, and this is happening in the Highlands in Scotland, in I think a secluded village surrounded by pine forest. And one day this girl, Lauren and her father are driving in a car or something like this, and a woman stumbles out from the woods and they pick her up, and the next day she's gone. I have been seeing this book on Vinted a lot, and I always wanted to pick it up because I like secluded settings, isolated settings. I enjoy stories that are happening in the mountains, in the woods. So yeah, for me it was kind of like a given that one day I would be wanting to read this book. The second book that I picked up in a charity shop was Starter for 10 by David Nichols, and I think this is a very similar book to One Day. I've read One Day a long time ago, and it was kind of like a romance between 2 people over the years, starting from when they were in a university. I really enjoyed that one, and I think I saw that yesterday. There was 2 copies in one shop. There was 2 copies of this book, and I was like, you know what? I think I want to give it a go. I feel like reading something light. It's not I don't have anything light, but because I enjoyed David Nichols before, I wanted to give this one a go as well. The last book that I picked up in the charity shops was A State of Fear by Michael Crichton, and in my recent vlog, when I was reading my self-distracting books, I was reading The Andromeda Strain by Michael Crichton, and thank you very much for whoever spelled it out to me how I should pronounce his name. It was really helpful. I needed that, so thank you. So now I know how to say his name. Michael Crichton, State of Fear. It's a big book, 717 pages, but when I saw that on the shelf, I just have to have it because I enjoyed The Andromeda Strain. immensely. I gave it 5 stars. That's the charity shops. And now we are going to go into the Vinted purchases, and we will continue with Michael Crichton, because I picked up another couple of books by Michael Crichton from Vinted. The first one is Prey, and the second one that I picked up is Next. So I suppose this is, do you know what? I haven't read the synopsis. I don't really care that much. I enjoyed his book so much that I would literally just want to read everything. Well, mostly everything, I guess. But both of them are sci-fi thrillers, which I really, really enjoy. And I can't wait to get my paws on them. More Vinted stuff. We have Sharp Objects and Dark Places by Gillian Flynn. I have read Gone Girl a long time ago when that book first came out, and I really enjoyed this thriller. And recently I've seen the movie again, and I was in the mood for some Gillian Flynn. So I haven't read these 2 books, and there's also another one that I haven't read. I think Growing Up or something like this. So I want to get one as well, and I'm thinking I am going to get Gone Girl as well at some point, and I want to match the covers. Like, I know Gone Girl is kind of like this orangey or the yellowy, and the other one is the opposite. So one of them is yellow, one of them is orange, and I want to get those 2 as well, and have them as like a nice complete set. Love these colors, love the rainbow. And yeah, basically, so these are thrillers. This is like a suspense thriller. Like, if you've read Gone Girl, you know what this is about. But from what I remember from Gone Girl, it was reading so fast. Like, I literally couldn't put it down. And I feel Gillian Flynn is one of these authors that were so popular before Frida McFadden came to the scene. And yeah, so I enjoyed her book before, and I'm excited to give these 2 a go as well. And then I picked up a vintage book as well, because someone was recommending it to me, and I've seen it. I purchased this as a part of the bundle. I can't remember which bundle, but it was part of a bundle. The person had that on the page, so I picked it up, and it is The Hitchhiker's Guide to Galaxy by Douglas Adams, and I don't know what this book is about. So this is sci-fi, and I've heard that this is funny, so it's also very short, so it should be a quick fun read. The other vintage book that I picked up is, well, vintage, you can say vintage, classic vintage, is The Rats by James Herbert. And I've read James Herbert before, and I enjoy his writing, but I've never read The Rats. I know it's a part of a trilogy, book 1 in a trilogy, and because I have this aversion to rats and creepy crawlies and spiders, this is the type of a horror that always scares me the most. So in a way, I want to read it because I know that this will give me the creeps, but also I'm scared to read it, and because it's rats, they are everywhere, absolutely everywhere, and I hate them, but I want to read this book. And then we have another horror, and this is a Brian Keane, Dead Sea, and this is basically zombies underwater or something like this, or on the ship or something like this. But you know, it's zombies. I like zombies, and being at sea also so cool. Isolated settings, there's nowhere to go. What do you do? I'm super excited for this one. When you see the next book that I picked up, you are not going to be surprised if you have been watching my reading vlogs for a while, because you will know that I love books set in winter in some isolated settings, and yeah, scary horror books. That's my jam. And the book that I picked up is A Road of Bones by Christopher Golden, and this is set in Siberia on some abandoned road where this driver drives this truck or something, and I think there's something to do with ghosts and stuff like that. So this is blurbed by Stephen King as well. He said the trip will scare the hell out of you. I loved it, so I'm excited to read that. I know I'm gonna have a good time with this. The next book that I picked up was part of a bundle as well, and there was a movie for this book. I have watched the movie and I have never read the book, and I want to fix it. So I picked up Bird Box by Josh Malerman, and I know there's another book this is book 1 in a duology. The next one is Mallory. If I enjoy this one, I'm gonna pick up Mallory, but I want to definitely read this one. And since I've watched the movie so long ago, I think when I finish reading this, I will rewatch a movie and then maybe read Mallory as well. Then I have a couple of random picks. You would think the first one is A Man Called Ove, and this book is set in Sweden. And if you've been here for a while, you know that I have been learning Swedish and I like Sweden, and my son and his girlfriend live in Sweden, and I've been watching Swedish TV series and Swedish movie, and I'm just really fascinated by Scandinavia. So when I saw this book, I actually didn't know what this book was about. I think it's about some grumpy old man. But the fact that this is set in Sweden, it convinced me to get this book. I feel vibes-wise, it reminds me a little bit of The Unlikely Pilgrimage of Harold Fry, when the main character was this older gentleman as well. So I don't know what this story is about, what the plot of the book is about. I'm just kind of excited to read about this older man and, you know, his grumpy ways, and the fact that it's set in Sweden, that's even better. And now we have my last random purchase from Vinted, and it's a non-fiction book, and this is the book that I had my eye on because I like this person and I find them very funny and very entertaining. And the book that I'm talking about is Surviving the Drive, and by Gunther Steiner. Gunther Steiner was one of the team leaders in one of the F1 teams, and I do like watching F1 races. I don't watch them regularly. I'm not a massive fan, but I do like Gunther. I think he's a character and a half. I'm actually quite excited to read it because I really enjoyed that Netflix show. I like the races. I like the whole drama and the whole tension of qualifiers and the races. But I think the show is also good in a way because it will show you everything that is happening backstage as well, and it reflects a little bit more on the characters, on the people behind the scenes. I'm interested in his story. Okay, so the next stack I have in front of me or next to me is a selection of books from the author that I have read before. I actually read every single one of these books, but for some reason I haven't kept the copies, so I decided to repurchase them because book 6 in a series is coming out later on this year. I think it's in August, and I would like to reread some of these books because there's 5 books in a series. 2 of them I remember very well, and the 3 of them I have a vague memory of what was in the book. I rated them all for 4 and 5 stars. So it's a little bit strange that I can't remember much what happened in these books. But the author and the books that I'm talking about, I'm going to show you in 2 batches. So the series I'm talking about is a Robert Langdon series by Dan Brown. And this is the 5 books in a series. I want to reread the 3 of them, The Infernal Origin and The Lost Symbol. Da Vinci Code and Angels and Demons I remember very well, and I think maybe because I also have seen the movies for these books, but the other 3 I can't remember that much, so I would like to reread them before I read book 6. So that's Robert Langdon series. I have also read Digital Fortress and Deception Point by Dan Brown, and I enjoy them a lot. They are thrillers, kind of like mystery thrillers. I had a lot of fun reading them. I don't think I'll be rereading them, but I wanted to have these books on my shelves. So that's that. And then I have a last stack of books from one author as well. Some of these books I have read, but I wanted physical copies on my shelves. Some of them I haven't, and I'm excited to read because, again, another book is coming out later on this year. I can't remember which month, but it's coming and I have it on a pre-order. And the author that I'm talking about is Taylor Jenkins Reid. The books that I have already read are One True Loves. I really like that one. I even bought this for my mom, for her to read, because it was so good. Taylor Jenkins Reid writes such good books. The way she writes, her writing style is just so flowy. You literally cannot put it down. And then I also have read Daisy Jones and the Six, and this book is the reason why I want to read The Favorites, because everybody is comparing The Favorites to Daisy Jones and the Six, and it was such a cool book. And then the last book that I have read is Malibu Rising. I actually listened to this book via audio and I remember a little bit from this book, but I can't remember a lot, so it's quite possible that I would like to reread this book in the future. So the next book I have is Carrie Soto is Back, and apparently this is set in the same world as Daisy Jones and the Six, and super excited for that one. And then we have After I Do. That's a contemporary romance. Can't wait to read this one. And then the last one is Forever Interrupted, and I think this is the first book that Taylor Jenkins Reid published. People are saying it's not so great, but I still want to read it. I wanna read her entire backlist, and that's it. That's all my books, 31 books in total, if I am not mistaken. That's more than days in February, which it's kind of mad when you think of it. But like I said, some of these books I've read already. The rest of them, some of them I want to reread, and some of them I just want as my shelf droppies because they are great books and I don't know why I don't have them on my bookshelves for some reason or another. Thank you very much for watching. Don't forget to like this video if you are a book buying freak like myself. Let me know in the comments if you have read any of these books. Let me know if you're excited for any of these books as well. And in the meantime, before you go, this is my last reading vlog. That was all the books that I was reading in February. And for now, I thank you very much for watching and I will see you in my next one. Bye!